once again returning to the main campaign of Small Brawl, where we shall stay for the remainder of our journey. Our main character this time is Thumper, who we shall all be rooting for, because their victory means a smoother, better to watch video. And I do mean there. Thumper is driven by two people, Vinny and Bruce. They're in search of the ultimate sound system, and we wish them well. Thumper from Head On did not fare so well with such a victory. Perhaps these two will. They have a perfectly mediocre car for the task. So let's have them try their luck here in Meet Your Maker, a level that inexplicably takes place in, I guess, the backroom meat cutting area of a grocery store, maybe? This is a weird one. Completely unrelated to the standard childhood locations that most of the other levels have taken place in. Very, very dangerous as well. It's an area that is designed to shred flesh. Fortunately, our vehicles are not piloted, but still plenty of extremely threatening hazards. 5 buzzsaws, which is extremely excessive, and a grinder. Not even really like a ground beef maker. That's just a meat thresher. More of a garbage disposal than anything else. Wouldn't make anything edible in the aftermath, besides a mess. We've also got these buttons. The buttons will activate or deactivate the various conveyor belts around the area, and some of the mechanical objects. So you can reduce the threat by turning the buttons off, except that they will randomly cycle themselves on and off, so they'll only stay off for a very short period of time. Probably pop back on when you least expect it. We have an environmental weapon in this level. Considering how dangerous everything is, can't imagine what it's going to be. I guess we won't be seeing just yet. What happened there is I went for the health refill, which is right in front of the thresher. And I grabbed it, and then I turned around while I was still shielded. But my hitbox was trapped inside the thresher. If you get too close to it, your vehicle actually gets wedged underneath the hitbox of it, and stuck there, and cannot move. And then your shield wears off, and then you die. You can do the same to enemies, but for the most part, you don't want to directly approach the thresher, which is kind of common sense in retrospect. They also transport big hunks of meat. They do a bad job of it, so we knock it down and ruin it, just to show our displeasure. Bottles of bleach scattered around are flammable, of course. Don't try that one at home, though. Now to speed things up a bit, I'm going to try and use the thresher offensively, rather than merely for self-destruction purposes. But when it is active, enemies will avoid the entire area to the best of their ability. Fortunately, Mime has taken the bait in some way and has tried to loop around. And I missed my opportunity to crush her, but she was at low enough health. As we've seen, Mime is very fragile. Here we have the meat smashing device. Everyone loves a nice flat steak. There's actually a button down here with the sole purpose of toggling on and off the meat crushing device. Doesn't affect any of the conveyor belts. That's the button for the thresher, as we know. Then there's one more button which turns on and off the conveyor belts at the top of the ramp. The least dangerous of the conveyor belts. At this point, I have sort of resigned myself to actually fighting the enemies. I even took the time to kill Spectre via actual damage. Tried to snipe another leg of lamb out of frustration. No such luck. Now to use our special, which is partially modeled off of the Thumper special from Twisted Metal 3, in that it fires sound waves that have no homing. They just bounce around a lot. Not very damaging either. They're kind of hard to use. Maybe the hardest to use special that I've found so far. Now we have our environmental attack. Let's test it out on a willing participant. Okay, Sweet Tooth got a little closer after I jumped across the conveyor. Made him think it was safe, so he barely touched the edge of it. And the environmental attack dramatically sped up that conveyor, taking him right into the Thresher. It also increases the damage per second that the Thresher does, basically guaranteeing a kill if anyone touches it. You can kill pretty much every enemy with only the environmental attack in this level, but they are likely to misbehave while you are trying to do that. I actually got a bit lucky that Sweet Tooth accepted his fate. Jumped right on the conveyor. While I was setting all that up, the other enemies did get pretty badly beaten, so we're gonna wrap this up in what is ostensibly an easy victory for Thumper here, but I can assure you it was anything but.
Oh, man, you snaking us, man.
Yeah, man, we don't want no system for no toy car.
Yo, we want fat sound.
Yeah, man.
Fat sound, baby.
Just keep your shirts on. Fat enough?
4, 3, 2, 1.
Huh? What? Yo, ain't no sound coming out your mouth. You know stupid talking right now. Oh, man, I read your lips. Shut up. You come over here and make me shut up.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went in head-on as well, for Thumper's ending there. It's actually kind of dark that Vinny and Bruce seem to be deaf now when they formerly enjoyed music so much. Maybe it's just temporary. We ended up with a rather short video this time, but the process of recording it was excruciating. I hope it was evident that the level was very dangerous, especially when all 5 enemies are alive. So if you try to fight them before 1 or 2 of them have been killed, you're dead. The easiest and safest way to wipe a few of them out is to use the Thresher, but sometimes it'll just eat you instead. In fact, I would say most of the time. Then there was the run where 3 enemies threw themselves in the Thresher and left me with absolutely nothing to show off afterwards, so I had to scrap that recording as well. That's really how this level goes. You either have yourself a fluke run, where the level wins itself, or you have a miserable time. Your best bet really is just to throw yourself at it until you get one automatic win run. But clearly, the kid gloves are off here in the latter half of Small Brawl.